All right, we're just getting set up here. If you're joining us live on YouTube, it is April the 5th, 7 o'clock. You can find the class notes there in the chat. You also find a Zoom link where you can join us live. We're over here on Zoom, and you can join us live. And we'll stick around after the class is over. Once we'll cut off the YouTube stream, and I'll stick around for a little while, answer some questions. We can dig into the content a little bit more. So let me just get a couple things set up and we'll dive right in. All right. All right, everybody, welcome again to this week's Increase class. I'm Blake Anderson. Start that one more time. Welcome, everybody, again to this week's Increase class. I'm Blake Anderson. It is March the 5th. It's Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I'm just blessed and honored that you would join me here to keep learning more about Increase, whether you're watching this live with us on YouTube or on Zoom, or whether you're watching the recording. God bless you. I pray that some things that we talked about tonight will enrich your life, will equip you for increase. You know, this is a class where we take spiritual principles, we apply them to get natural results, because increase truly is a set of spiritual principles. When you learn the spiritual principles of increase, then you'll learn to be able to apply them to every area of your life and be able to see increase and abundance come in every area of your life. Right now, we're digging into the concepts of leadership, because it's my contention that no one will do any great thing by themselves. It will take a team to accomplish it. And so learning how to be a strong leader, a leader that people will follow, will help you advance the things that you're working on and bring further increase into your life. And it's my contention that everyone is a leader, and you can lead wherever you're at, whether it's laterally leading down the chain of command or leading up the chain of command. For more of that, watch some of our previous videos on leadership. So we're going to keep moving forward with the biblical leadership blueprint. This is the fourth and final step. If you've missed the first three steps, go watch those episodes that are available on YouTube. But this biblical leadership blueprint comes from a verse in the Bible, Isaiah 57, verse 14, that reads, "And it will be said, build up, prepare the road, remove the obstacles out of the way of my people." Now I'm going to read that again, but each one of those little phrases is a step of the biblical leadership blueprint. Now, we've done some deep dives in the first three steps, and tonight we're going to go deep on step number 4. But they're specific things, and there's deep teaching and revelation behind each one. And I hope you'll go deep on some of those other episodes. But right now we're on the fourth and final step, which is remove the obstacles out of the way of my people. Remove the obstacles. You know, to me, this is really where the magic lies. This is the secret sauce that differentiates strong leaders from just leaders with title. Leaders who are committed to the success of their team and their project versus leaders who just want people to do what they say. It's a leader's ability to see obstacles and remove the obstacles so that their team can reach success. So we're just going to do some really quick review just to lay the groundwork for step number 4. I don't have time to get too deep on this, but these steps are in a particular order, and they work together and they build together. And if you can apply them in this order, not just when you're starting a project, but every interaction that you have with your team, you're going to be able to create a team that can succeed, that can move fast and move forward to success. So first, we have to realize leadership is influence, as John C. Maxwell said. It is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And if you don't have influence, you will never be able to lead others. Okay. Important concept from John C. Maxwell. And another thing that Maxwell teaches that you have to understand about leadership is when it comes to people, fast is slow and slow is fast. You cannot rush people. People are a leader's greatest asset. Therefore, a leader must treat his or her people that way, must take the time to get them ready. Don't rush a project. Don't start steps until everybody on the team is ready to move forward. You can't skip steps when it comes to the leadership game. If you've ever tried to rush something on another human being or rush your team into something, then you've probably experienced the pullback, the slowdown, and the resistance that comes from team members who aren't ready to move forward. So you cannot afford to skip steps, and you cannot afford to rush, because you must understand, with people, fast is slow and slow is fast. So you'll notice in that Bible verse, the first thing is build up. And the first thing that we need to build up as leaders is we need to build our people up. And we build them up through empathy. We build them up through encouraging them, recognizing who they are and what they bring to the table. And we build them up by equipping them with skills, with training, with process, helping them become stronger members of the team. The second step in the biblical leadership blueprint is to build up again, but this time as a leader, you have to build up the process. Right? You've got to put the system and the structure in place for your team to be able to work together. Okay. I've seen many teams get started on a inspirational, rah-rah, motivational meeting and never be able to move forward because the leader didn't put a process in place that would empower the team to move forward. You must take the time as the leader to put the process in place. People need to know who's responsible for what does success look like? What are all the different tasks that need to be done? What order should they be done in? Is there a schedule? Are there deadlines? Who's responsible to make sure that everything comes together the way they should? That is the process, and it's your responsibility as a leader to give your team an effective process. You can't trust that just because you have gifted and talented people that they'll know what to do. They will do the process that they're given. Okay. So you've got to build up the process. This third step of the biblical leadership blueprint is to prepare the road. And you prepare the road for your people, which is the path and the plan, by first casting the vision. What does success look like? Where are we going? What are we accomplishing as a team? By creating a plan and a strategy that gets you from where you're at now to that destination point of success that we've all agreed on and defined. Third, the leader, when they prepare the road, must blaze the trail. You as the leader must be the trailblazer out in front of everybody. You must show the way through your actions, through your behavior. Sometimes that will mean you'll be the first one in the office and the last one to leave. You might have to put more time in. You're going to do lots of things that are not recognized. But if you're committed to that vision, if you're committed to success, then you're committed to blazing that trail, because you'll know as a leader, if I can get out front of everybody, I can show them the way and I can give them a path that they can follow, that we can push this project forward into success. And the fourth thing that you need to do as a leader when you prepare the road is you need to show your team members the future. Okay, what's in it for them long term? How will they benefit by committing to your project, by committing to you as a leader? You see, if they don't see their future through your project, eventually they're going to stall out or lose their commitment. If you want to keep people committed into the project, they must understand what the future holds if this project is successful. Is there a raise? Is there a promotion? Will this help build the resume? What is in it for your followers? Why should they commit? You've got to show them the future to keep them engaged. Fourth and final step is to remove the obstacles. Okay, is to remove the obstacles. Now, every road, no matter where you're going, has speed bumps. If you go to too far of a destination and you have a long trip ahead of you, there will be delays. You will run into roadblocks, lane closures, road construction. There will be delays on every road. I like this Mike Tyson quote that says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. We must understand that as a leader, no matter how great your plan is, eventually adversity is going to come. Frustrations will happen. You will hit roadblocks. You will hit speed bumps. You will feel like you've been punched in the face. And then what happens? Well, this is when leadership happens. So let's dive into that. We have to admit there will be obstacles. First and foremost, you've got to admit it. There will be obstacles. There's nothing that you will do that will happen perfectly. You can write anything you want on a piece of paper, but when you go to work with humans and outside forces and different people who have different personalities and emotions and responsibilities outside of this project, you're going to hit roadblocks. And so it's not for you to declare defeat or admit failure. It's for you to understand we expected this. So now what? This is where your leadership really happens and where strong leaders differentiate themselves. The strongest leaders aren't the ones that have projects that don't have any unforeseen challenges. No, the strongest leaders are the ones that know how to deal with those challenges, that know how to lead their people around and through the challenges into success. Okay, so we're going to dig into that tonight. So you're equipped as a leader, not to be afraid when something doesn't go right, not to be afraid when it goes wrong, to be equipped as a leader. So first thing you got to understand about the obstacles is if you've done the first 3 steps really well, then those obstacles will appear really small. If you have rushed the first 3 steps, then even the smallest little pebble can trip you up. Have you ever ridden a skateboard down a really smooth asphalt surface? It's the best place to ride a skateboard. Smooth, fresh asphalt or really slick concrete is the best thing for a skateboard. But have you ever hit a roadblock, hit a pebble with your skateboard, running a skateboard? If you have ever hit a pebble on a skateboard on clean asphalt, then you probably remembered through the scarred face and the skinned knees because you went right over. What am I saying? My point is, if you don't take the time to do steps 1 to build up your people, step 2 to create the process, and step 3 to prepare the road of the plan in front of them, then even the smallest setback will seem like a giant roadblock. So your first goal as a leader is to do steps 1, 2, and 3 really well, because if you have, then you've prepared your people and you've prepared the process to navigate around your obstacles. So that's the first thing that you have to know about this is don't skip steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So when we're looking into obstacles, as I said before, people are your most valuable asset. Okay. And you have to remember, as a leader, your success is in the hands of your followers, and their success is your responsibility. I want to say that again. You should write this down. Your success as a leader is in the hands of your people, and their success is your responsibility. Okay. So when obstacles come that have the ability to stop your team or slow them down, whose responsibility is it to get the team through the obstacles and get things moving again? It's your responsibility. It's the leader's responsibility. Okay. Who's the leader? Well, in one way, there's someone, the person ultimately responsible for the success of the project or the business. But another way, everyone is a leader. Remember, everyone is a leader and can lead where they're at. Okay. So strong leaders know when to get involved in the obstacles, and they also know when to give their team some space to work through the challenge. This is some nuance and really takes growing in your maturity to be able to recognize when does someone that is on my team, when if they hit a roadblock that needs me to get involved, and when do I need to just give them some space to deal with it? Because if I get involved in every single roadblock, then I'll never be able to work on any of the things I'm responsible for. And I might enable them to continue to not work or not work through their challenges or to not grow as an individual. But if I stay too hands off and I allow someone to struggle for too long, then the project might completely stall out. And it's also very possible many times when people hit a roadblock who are on your team, it's because they're being asked to do something that they're probably not the right gift or skill set for. And oftentimes when we assign responsibilities, we don't know that until someone starts working on it. So we as a leader have to know when to get involved and when to give people some latitude. So I've written a 5-step process there behind us that we're going to go over to hopefully equip you on how to monitor your team, how to be able to recognize an obstacle, and how to remove it when you see it. So the first thing that you need to know is you need to know your team. If you're a leader, you've got to know who are the people that you're working with and you're working around, who are the people that you're responsible for, and who are the people contributing to the success of your project. So what do you need to know about them? What's their gifts and what their strengths? If you're in a company that's done some sort of personality assessment, take the time to read up on the backgrounds of the people that you're with. If not, it might mean taking a little extra time on a phone to talk through with them. Hey, what do you like doing? What are you good at? What do you think your strengths are? You need to know what their goals are personally and what their motivations are. You remember we said in step 3 to prepare the road, you've got to show the future to your team. You've got to be able to pull on their personal motivations to get their commitment in something. So I want to take the time to know about my team members. Who are they as a person? What's important to them? What motivates them? What drives them? And then you need to know what's their desires. What do they like to do? What are the types of tasks that they enjoy doing? What are the things on the team's task list of responsibilities that gives them joy, that gives them life, that they enjoy? And then what are the things that they absolutely hate to do? See, if an effective leader knows this about their team members, because when you know these things about your team members, you're more likely to see when they're stuck. You're more likely to see when they're being asked to do something that maybe isn't a good fit for them or their skill set. All right. So first thing is you got to know your team. Remember what we said, when it comes to people, fast is slow and slow is fast. It seems like some extra work to take the time to get to know everybody on your team. Trust me, when you hit an obstacle, you'll be glad you knew them, and you'll be glad you knew their motivations, their gifts, their strengths, their skill sets, because you'll be able to identify what the problem is as a leader. So the first thing you need to know is you got to know your team. Second thing you have to do as a leader when you've got a business or a project that's moving forward is you've got to keep a pulse on the project. How will you know if someone's stalled out or hit a roadblock if you don't know what's going on? Now, I'm not a proponent for micromanaging. If you do a really great job of hiring people, and we've talked about this in other classes, if you do a good job of hiring people or recruiting people to your team that are a good culture fit for you and your project, that understand what success looks like, that are positioned appropriately to do and offer from their gifts and their skill sets, then they'll be empowered to continue to move forward, and you won't need to micromanage them. But you still have to keep a pulse. How are things going? Every so often, you've got to check in. How's it going? So at one of my businesses, we have a project management software that shows schedules of the projects we're working on. There's daily logs about some of the progress that's going on. And as a leader, I'm able to keep tabs on how things are going by I'm watching the daily logs. I'm watching the schedules. I'm seeing the activity going around the projects that we have going on. And so I don't have to micromanage or get too into the weeds on everything, but I'm able to keep a pulse on what's going on. And by keeping a pulse of the projects that are happening around me, then I can see when things get stuck. And it's really easy for me to check in. How's it going? How are the progresses going? What frustrations have you bumped up against, right? So when I'm keeping a pulse on the progress, if I've done steps 1, 2, and 3, I've built up my people, create a great process for them to use, and I've given them a plan to execute, then progress is just going to naturally flow. You're going to start moving very quickly. But like we said, obstacles are going to come. And so when I'm keeping pulse on the progress, I'm happy to see that things are going forward, but I don't just stop looking when I think that things are going well. I'm looking for slowdowns. I'm looking for standstills. I'm looking to see whether people are frustrated. You see, I really don't want to find out that any of my team members are stuck in a frustrated place for very long and are getting stalled out, even if it's by a mistake that they made. Ultimately, that could be a detriment to the success of my project, right? So I'm looking for those things, and I won't know those. I won't know whether someone's hit a frustration point or a slowdown or standstill unless I keep pulse on the progress, okay? The third thing I want to do as a leader is I got to listen. You keep tabs on the pulse, and then you got to check in with people, and you got to listen. How's it going? What's going well? What's not going well? How can I help you? You might see something stuck. You might see someone struggling. but you don't want to call them and say, hey, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. See, as a leader, our ability to lead people has everything to do with our influence in their life, whether they trust us and have confidence in us. And so to continue to honor the influence we have with them and build the trust, we need to be great listeners. We need to value the opinions of the people, even if someone's making a mistake, even if they're doing something wrong. Rarely I find are people intentionally doing things wrong, but they might be making a mistake inadvertently, or maybe they have incomplete set of information. So I'm going to check in and I'm going to listen and I'm going to let them do the talking, right? So remember, you revisit step one, because we said these steps of the blueprint work with every time we meet with someone, not just at the beginning of a project. And so step one is I'm going to empathize. I'm going to get down on their level. I'm going to encourage them and recognize them. And so I'm going to listen to them, right? The people on your team, if you'll give them the space, will tell you all that you need to know. Even the people that seem tight-lipped, if you can sit and ask questions and be silent and give them plenty of room, eventually they will offer up all the information that you need to know as a leader to be able to help a situation, okay? So after I listen, step 4 in this, finding the obstacles, is I want to first, when I might listen, I might find an obstacle, I'm going to find a frustration, but a strong leader is willing to give authority or agency to their team members. Even if you see what the problem is and you know what the solution is, you're going to abuse the trust or the confidence that your team members have in you if you go into telling mode. You should do this, do it this way, micromanaging their time. You know, if they're the ones that are down in the weeds and they're the ones putting in the sweat and the blood, sweat, and the tears into that task, then we need to honor the work that they've done. And we honor it by honoring their agency, their ability to make decisions, their ability to have a strong opinion, an educated opinion. We want to honor some authority that maybe they've been given over that task. And a good way to honor the agency and authority is maybe by asking questions. How can I help you? Do you have a good plan? Tell me more about what you think needs to be done here. Do you have enough resources? Do you have the appropriate manpower to finish what you're doing? So oftentimes we hit standstills in projects and things slow way up. And I might call some of the project managers and the people that in charge of that project and say, do you have what you need? What are you lacking? And then I'm going to give them a chance to kind of give me their thoughts with the solution. I might come with something totally different, but I'm going to give them the first crack at what they think the right way to handle this is. Oftentimes those questions, you'll find that the people who are stuck actually know what to do. They just don't feel empowered to make a decision of that magnitude. It might need you as a leader to affirm their instinct, to affirm the plan that they have. For getting around the obstacle they have. So you got to listen. You got to ask questions. You got to allow them to have agency and authority. And then you need to offer to help. Okay. When you hit a roadblock, remember, as a team leader, as a leader, your success is in the hands of the people, but their success is your responsibility. As a leader, you are ultimately the one responsible for the project. And so I would not recommend that you delegate all responsibility to everybody but yourself. Even if every task has got a name written next to it, you need to take responsibility and be accountable for the success of every one of those tasks. That doesn't mean that you always have to do everything for everyone, but it does mean that you're going to have to get your hands dirty. You're going to have to get on the ground and you're going to have to get down in there with your folks and work alongside of them, no matter how busy you are, no matter how much responsibility you give them, no matter how much they're being paid to accomplish this task. If you are serious and you're committed to success, then you are going to be willing to help and get down into the weeds of what they're dealing with. So as a leader, when you see a roadblock, it's your responsibility to get unstuck, and you might get unstuck by empowering the person who's stuck to do something about it, giving them more authority, sending them resources to do it. You also might offer to help them with it. And so the things that you as a leader want to be looking for that are absolutely your responsibility, first is going to be process-related things and organizational structure things. Like we said, Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. You might write what you think is a brilliant business plan or project plan, but once you start implementing that plan, things are going to go different than you thought. Likely there's going to need to be adjustments made along the way. And you might find out, as I have many times over, things did not go as smooth as I thought they would. I didn't have it figured out like I thought. What I had written on paper sounded good, but did not work in theory. So as a leader, when you create a process or a plan, don't get dogmatic or too territorial about the plan you created. You need to be committed to the result, not necessarily the way that you get there, which means pivots will have to happen. Adjustments are going to have to be made. Someone might come up with a better idea than you have. And it's your job as a leader to work on the structural things in the process that aren't working, maybe the process things that aren't working well. Okay, so I'll give you a perfect example. So we have a project management software with our company and the projects that we use. And the software is very powerful, but it's really only as powerful as the amount of time that we spend to set it up. And I've spent a lot of time setting up this structure, and I've found many times it's still not enough for what my folks need to get something done successfully. And so when I see them stuck, I'm looking to see, is maybe something incomplete with the process that I gave them? Is there something incomplete about our organizational structure, right? And oftentimes there is. And that's where I volunteer to get in the weeds and help. Hey, you keep working on your project. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get into this software and I'm going to rework some things. I see where your obstacle is. I'm going to get it out of your way and I'm going to get the plumbing working better. Okay. So you're looking for structure things. You're looking for process related things. You're looking to get that thing out of the way that can keep it moving. And the best thing is if you can find a structural process thing and you can deal with it at the root cause, then it won't continue to plague you. But if you keep, handling every situation uniquely and you don't get to the root cause of it, you likely might see that roadblock again. So we're looking for the process things that are keeping our people from moving forward. So ultimately, what am I saying? I'm saying as a leader, it's your job to find the roadblocks, to see where people are getting stuck, to get them unstuck and get them moving again. Strong leaders don't let their people just sit and get stuck in the ditch. They get down in there and they pull them out. Strong leaders are looking for the things that might trip their people up. Strong leaders are looking for the obstacles that are preventing their people from achieving success as a team. Strong leaders understand that their success and the success of their project is in the hands of their team. And their team, each team member's success is the leader's responsibility. So that's step 4 of biblical leadership blueprint. It's Isaiah 57:14. It says, build up, prepare the road, remove the obstacles out of my people's way. We build up our people. We empathize with them. We encourage them. We equip them. And we do it constantly. We build up the process that they need to be successful. We define what success looks like. We know everything that has to get done. We put them in the proper order. We put deadlines to them and we assign this responsibilities. We create a process that allows people to work together and be empowered to do something successful. We as the leaders prepare the road by casting the vision, creating a plan, blazing the trail forward, and continuing to show everyone on the team what the future holds if we're successful here. And then as a leader, we don't check out a stop there. We are constantly looking for the roadblocks and the obstacles that are getting in our way. And we understand it's our job as leaders to get in there and remove those obstacles so that our people can continue to run. So I promise you, if you will adopt this methodology into your behavior and the way that you interact with your team, even if you're not the big boss, but you use this on how you interact with the people that are even just your lateral team members, or maybe someone that works above you, you will begin to see increase. You'll see increase and you'll be promoted. You'll see increase in your progress, your projects and your progress in the things that you're doing. So I pray that this has blessed you. I pray that you understand that you are a leader no matter where you find yourself. And that with these tools, with this blueprint that the Bible gives us, that you can be equipped for success. So God bless you all. If you're on the Zoom, feel free to stick around. I'm going to shut the YouTube feed down. If you're on YouTube,